Good evening, everybody. Welcome to TF Live's coverage of the ozfortress Midsummer Night's Cup. This is the grand final of the Premier Division between Madmen and Unanimous Confusion. With me on my co-caster role is Lucky, and streaming for us tonight is Wiethoofd. How you doing, Lucky?
I'm doing very well, thanks. Just freshly rolled out of bed, ready to cast some ozfortress. Feeling good, man. How are you?
I'm very well. My team played earlier on tonight, but we got absolutely toasted. So I'm free
Nice.
free to cast some games, which is always good fun. Always great to be joined for some talent from across the channel as well, across the other side of the world even.
Oh, you flatter me. You flatter me with the word talent. I think it's more falling and stumbling into the role of casting and then just doing it and then praying it works. But I've never seen these teams play. In ozfortress, I should really be keeping up with it because it seems like I might be doing this a little bit more often, depending. But have you got some lowdowns on these teams that you want to give me and the rest of the audience, hence they don't know?
Yeah, sure. So on the red team tonight, they're called Unanimous Confusion. They played last season as Nefarious, pretty much. I think there's a couple of changes, couple of shuffle arounds from their actual rosters and their actual class from there. But I'll just go down who's playing what at the moment. We have Rocky on, I assume, Pocket. Ben on Scout, Huffrong on Medic, Deft on Demo, and it looks like Spade has gone to Roma and Hebes has come in on Scout. And I think Spade actually did play Scout last season, so it's a little bit of a change around there. But they have been playing together for a little while, so I'm hoping to see quite a lot of cohesion and team play on them, on their side, I should say. And then on the other side, we have. It's kind of like a newly formed team, but they're all people who've been around playing together for quite a long time anyway. Going down the roster on my screen, we have Hertz and Madness on Scouts. Elmo is roaming tonight rather than playing Scout, which is what we usually see him do. Doge is playing Demo, Locke is, I believe, playing Pocket, and Soul is their medic. So some names that the Australian crowd should be familiar with. Are you familiar with any of these names, Lucky?
No, none of them. This is going to be exciting for me. I love watching new players play, players who I've never seen before in action. There was quite a lot of it at LAN where I just didn't really know some new players, some new faces, and they just kind of brought it at LAN. But I love it because it's such a wildcard experience.
Yeah, well, I guess that brings us on to the actual finals itself. The finals is going to be a best of three. We're showcasing some new maps this season. This map is Koth Waterton, made by the wonderful Hyce of Logjam fame, and he, I think, is really open to feedback on these kind of maps, and he's available to, give some feedback and all that kind of stuff. And then the second map will be Koth Synthetic, which is another fairly new Koth map that we're keen to try out. Should we need it, we will go on to Reckoner, which has not been played for a little while in the Australian scene, but actually probably for quite a few years, and we haven't played it since any of the changes around the second point and the last lobby, which would be really cool to see. So we're hopefully going to ready up very, very soon. Yes, here we go. So we're going to go live onto our first mid of Koth Waterton here. Who are you watching on this first mid, Lucky?
I'm just going straight with Doge. He looks to be the one with the stylish bowling hat, so I'm going to just chunk him all the way to mid. And looks like we're going to have our first mid taking place right now, as he has made it all the way into mid, and Doge is smashing the stickies across, getting some early stickies right on top of the enemy players, but they don't seem to walk on top of them. We just do see an early bomb coming out of Frog, but Locke is also on top of the scouts there. Ben is moving forward really fast into the enemy scouts, but unfortunately does get cleaned up there, but loads of frags getting thrown across the point. Blue team seems to have this one in the bag. Just Heaps left alive, he's moving around behind the point right now, just seeing if he can get some extra poke damage, but it looks like our first mid is going down to the red team right now, but Soul did die in that exchange, so we are going to have even Ubers.
Yeah, that was really good, really good double soldier aggression coming in from them, jumping off across from the right side of the point there. But Heaps did manage to slink around and does even out those Ubers right at the end there. Huffrong, in fact, with about a 10% Uber ad, probably not enough to push on because this map is very wide. Rocky is engaging there. Nice arrows to keep Locke alive after being middied there. And the whole team is coming up through what I assume is this flank flank side. I have no idea what the calls are going to be on this map. Just really quickly, actually, while we've got some downtime here, sorry I say that, Rocky jumps in, does manage to get the pocket, but Doge is, Soul is not going to take any damage in that. We do actually have Hyce, the map maker, in Mumble with us. Do you have anything to say about this map, Hyce, just while we're waiting for these Ubers to even out?
Yeah, guys. This is Koth Waterton. It was designed specifically 6v6 gameplay in mind. Wanted to make something that was small, fast-paced, quick, a little bit smaller than Viaduct, tight, kind of just fun flanks, fun for soldiers to jump around on, and easy to make fast, fun plays. Nothing above the point, easy to bomb high, that sort of thing, so that you could have a pretty fun experience playing the map. So
yeah, speaking of some fast fun plays, we did actually just have that Ubers traded in there and some nice pipes in the post Uber situation to keep Soul alive at the very end, and it does seem to be soldiers, as you say, making these plays as everyone's jumping really far forward. And there were actually quite a bad Uber from the side of blue team, it looks like, because they lost so much ground and so many players just before we grabbed in there. But yeah, now we're sort of seeing a complete reversal as blue team has completely muscled everyone out. Halfrong going down, Rocky trying to salvage it for his team. He only gets the pocket there, but does lose his life in the end. So now we have a full Uberad on the side of blue team, on the side of Soul, and they're going to cap up this point with the time ad as well as the Uberad, Lucky.
Oh, indeed. Soul was making a really good usage of that, just that small ramp area right there. They couldn't get on top of him because he kept walking up and down the ramp, dodging around, so they managed to keep him alive for that entire experience. But they had a really good job of just getting the player advantage and then moving forward on it after the Uber exchange had happened. And we just see Halfrong actually go down. That's really upsetting for the side of the red team, so they're going to have to give away more time. We'll probably see a sack wave going in right now.
This is a big...
drops! Special defense goes in, and Deft gets the drop onto him. Very nicely played there. Manages to land the Iron Bomb afterwards. Just the scouts to do all the cleanup work right now. Ben's just pistol whipping. Madness getting really low, but also Herbs is really low as well on his own side. Madness does indeed get cleaned up there, but that drop was huge!
Yeah, Soul is one of those people who will not force to things like that. It's his team's fault, 100%, and he will let you know that in Mumble when he drops to something like that. That's according to him, that's not his fault, I don't think. But yeah, that was a really excellent repush actually. So they have 43 seconds on the timer, does blue team, and now the timer on red side is counting down. So we are having to jump in as actually Spade is up on the sniper. I'm not sure what the sniper sightlines are here to watch out for, but that is an excellent initiation actually, and there's some more players going down. He does eventually get jumped, but everyone is cleaning up on that, and now that is 3 down with Madness just spawning in compared to only 1 down, and they have backed off there as they are going to respect Halfrong's Uber advantage too.
Aye, they are going to really need to start respecting them. They have the point presence, but they are now slowly making their way up. Soul only has 76%. They need to be careful if they decide to pop out the super really early, but Halfrong does get forced, in fact, so they are going to make their way to Soul. But Soul is really deep in right now, though, and does get picked up by Rocky right there, and it looks like they're just going to start cleaning up all the rest of the players. But Halfrong is sort of left out right there, left out to dry, in fact, by his team, and he does go down. Just frags getting traded from either side right now. There are just 2 left on each side, but Herbs even does clean that one up and does make it a pretty good exchange for them in the end.
Yeah, that's the Halfrong strat there. They have like 10% ad. He wants to push because he wants to pick up that medigun. They get the frag, they get the medigun, but unfortunately that leaves him out of position and he's way too far forward, and he dies. He does pick up 60% after killing Soul, but it's just not enough. Heebs looks like he's going to get caught out here as the aggression has come all the way in. Rocky jumping in, trying to initiate onto Soul. Ooh, that's really nice from Rocky there. Actually manages to get that frag, but Spade does dome Hurts right in the very end there as we have some messy fighting. Locke should manage to take out Deft. No, Deft actually frags him, but Madness does run forward in the end. Some players starting to run forward. Really messy fighting actually here. Some spam coming across from Doge trying to do that, but he doesn't manage to jump out, unfortunately. That's just Soul and Hurts alive, and it looks like they're going to trade this point with 20 seconds left, Lucky.
Oh yeah, it does look like they've managed to bring this one back. They did have a minute deficit, but after a few scrappy plays and just sort of playing and waiting for the bombs, making a few players forward and then cleaning them up, they've managed to get enough picks to make it so they indeed did wipe. But now they appear to be wanting to hold forward rather than just waiting on the point like they were doing before.
Hertz
So
has
a little bit of
actually
change
leaked
in
behind a little bit. No, he's actually been spotted there as he's tried to rotate around. But that's actually a nice shot from Spade there. And the sticky trap cleans up Soul as he walks through. And now that's locked down as well as they're trying to sack on to get this Uber out. They do eventually get that Uber out, but it is basically everyone dead on the side of blue team for that, and it's just Elmo running around behind them, seeing what he can do, jumping forward, looking for those health packs. I don't know if he knows where they are in this map just yet. He's jumping in. He may actually get the medic there. No, the medic does manage to run away, but Soul does go down from Rocky right away as they're trying to re-push this. The time is so close. Hertz is playing that point, and now it's just Rocky is the only player close. The scouts are running in now, trying to see if they can play some height here, but there's not too much height around the point, and they're forced to engage in this messy fight, but they do clean up those players, and there's nothing there, and that overtime has faded out, and that is our first round to Unanimous Confusion.
Nicely done from... sorry to cut you off there. Half Wrong did a really good job of actually baiting loads of players towards him. It didn't matter if he died there because there wasn't enough time for another Uber anyway. But he baited loads of players towards him, and that caused them all to miss loads of rockets and just fail completely. And over to you, I guess, for another mid.
Yeah, sure. So both demos arriving to the mid at about the same time. Again, this double soldier aggression is coming in, but they actually are both taken down so low with nothing, and then that leaves the scouts are forwarding right across the point onto Doge, and Doge actually does get cleaned up there. Soul is left to play with only 2 scouts, and pretty much the entirety of the other team are up, but they're such low health, and these 2 buffed scouts are just walking right through everyone. It looks like Half Wrong is going to get caught out right at the end. Although he's met up with his team. Madness, I think, accidentally kills Deft. Half Wrong survives on the skin of his teeth there. That is really, really good movement and survivability from Half Wrong just there. Rocky jumping in to try to initiate something with this refight. They do manage to get the force out of Soul, but Half Wrong does die in the end there. That's not what you want to have happen to your medic after he's just done that amazing survival. But they do clean up a lot of frags, and they're forcing these low health players to walk out, and that will be kind of a reset situation, and I guess that gives us a little bit of time in what has been such a fast-paced game to head back towards Hyce here and kind of talk a little bit about how this map plays. Is this fast-paced gameplay similar to what you've seen in other playtests, or is this one of the first playtests outings that you've seen this map have, Hyce?
So this is the first time I've seen it played with actual team versus team. I've never seen it outside of a pickup game, that sort of scenario. But even in pickup games, it's definitely been fast-paced, back and forth, making big plays, making things happen, trading points. You never get into the, oh, okay, we're going to sack 100 times over and over trying to get their med. It's always going back and forth fast. So it's definitely an interesting map to play on.
Did you design some of these like lobby areas as like a great place to forward hold, or is it more designed around a defensive play rather than an aggressive forward hold play?
It was definitely designed to be more to focus the fight towards the central point, towards the middle. There's not terribly many good points to hold a forward hold. It's not like Viaduct where you've got the cliff, you've got good places for you to set up perches. Everything is on an even or at a disadvantaged height to hold towards the spawn. So attackers have the advantage coming out. So it focuses everything towards the middle control point, which keeps things moving rather quickly overall on the map as well.
Sure. Do you want to... Have you been paying attention to the game a little bit, Lucky?
Yeah, I've been paying attention. He's just got air shot to bits, and he is now space dust, and Red Team are actually having to make their way out right now. But there was a nice little conversion that they had there, where they just moved in. It was, neither of the teams had Uber, but they moved in, got a retake, and managed to get 3 kills off the back of it. So they were holding the point for a little while there, and now we are seeing the counter retake, as now both teams now have Uber. So that is the situation up to date for you guys as we're going down the map rundown. But we are seeing, I'm going to call this one alleyway, where they're holding right now, because it looks like one. And we are seeing Rocky jump all the way through, and Doge does have the Uber pop down onto him by Soul. And Half Wrong also pops out his Uber as he does get forced as he eats a pipe. And they are jumping all the way back right now. Ben maybe in a little bit too deep, but we are seeing the collapse from the blue team. And oh my god, Half Wrong is caught way out of position. And so is the entirety of the red team. They are just in such a bad position right now, but Rocky trying his best though, managing to salve a kill for his team onto Doge, but we are seeing Heaves just coming in to try and... Oh, what a wall shot there. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that collapse was really, really great. They just noticed everyone was out of position. It looks like it was a much better Uber from red team, but they were just kind of juggled a little bit there, and no one could really get out of that corner. And that collapse was just so well timed, and they paid for it there. As now that blue team has the point time advantage, red team is trying to jump forward. They're playing this alleyway, as you called it before, running forward. They do seem to have muscled their way through. Elmo is kind of trapped in a corner there, can't really do anything, and it's pushing all the fighting forward. And Soul actually does lose his life. Lock hurts Doge and Elmo. It's just madness. And that was... Did you catch what happened there at all, Lucky? That was so quick.
That was really fast, but essentially you had a few flanking players who just managed to get in behind, and they managed to get a few nice splash rockets off and a few nice scattergun shots, and just managed to clean everyone up so fast. Everything was so accurate. I think that's one thing that you do really need to lend to this map, though, the fact that you can make that happen in this map, because everything is so close together, everything's tied up nicely. But we are seeing the blue team coming maybe for a second, but Soul goes down immediately, and Spade hits him with a nice body shot. And it's alright if Halfrong uses Uber right now, because they're still going to have an advantage by the time the Uber ends, as no one has gone back to Soul anyway, so they are managing to clean up as many of these players as they can. And the Uber is now worn off, but as I said, everyone's wiped, so 10% add to Halfrong right now. And they have still kept point control, and they need to hold it for another minute now.
Yeah, Doja kill binds midair to avoid getting air shot there. But we do see Spade playing a fair bit of sniper on this map rather than the roamer that he should be playing. Ooh, nice trap actually from Doge. Does clean that up, and that fully charged body shot does clean up Hurts as well. Elmo trying to get in behind. I think he's been called though, so the sniper rotation has happened, and he's in no danger right now. Was sniper sightlines something that you were keen to eliminate from this map compared to maps like, say, Viaduct, which are very sniper heavy? Hyce.
So, sniper sightlines are always a challenge on any map. The biggest balance that I find in any map that I make is you're trying to balance between sniper sightlines and good flow. And to have good flow means you have big sniper sightlines. To get rid of the sniper sightlines means you have bad flow. And I think that movement and jumping for these soldiers in demo moment is the most fun part of TF2. For me personally, so you end up having to concede a couple sniper sightlines for good flow and an enjoyable play space. So there's definitely going to be sniper plays to be had, but I would like it to be less than Viaduct, yes.
Definitely, and we did actually see a collapse come in before of an off-Uber trade, and blue team actually won that and have managed to take back the point, and now the Ubers have evened up, and we've just seen that trade happen on point. Red team seems to have all this position as Soul is caught out. Locke is trying to spam players backwards, but the point is being played, but it's such low health on red team, and they can't muster anything there, and they do lose that round. So now it's a 1-all in what has been a very exciting game, Lucky.
I know, it's in terms of DM matchup, you have got such an even sort of matchup between the scouts, between the soldiers. Very well played from the demo men. The medics are doing their best to survive in all this chaos, but we are seeing another med take place, and we are seeing Hurt standing on top of the point right now, and Locke also, double soldier aggression going straight into Soul, but they only managed to land one rocket between the two of them. E-Frog, sorry, or whatever his name is
Elmo.
Elmo's gone in and died. And Ben is just tanking up all the hills right now, and Deft, they maybe need to get out of here right now, as they do have a player deficit right now. But they are deciding to stay in. Deft's getting really low right now. Nice arrows keeping him alive from Halfrong, up to 85% Uber, so we might see an Uber exchange really early on. No one's managed to cap out the point yet, but they are deciding to back off into alleyway right now. Maybe heeding a little bit of their woes right now, and Locke is standing on top of this point, yet they are still deciding to stay in. Deft has only just gotten the Uber towards him, luckily there, as they are now exchanging. This fight's gone on forever.
Soul is getting absolutely roasted in that Uber situation. He got juggled so hard. It's so impressive that he managed to get out after that. That was a roast and a half. And that survivability looks like it's going to win his team the fight here, as it's Soul, Doge, and Madness regrouping and forcing everyone back out to that alleyway, as you've called it before. And they're still actually managing to fight this, as there's a whole lot of stickies in the ground. Elmo is jumping forward. Deft has taken a lot of damage, but while that's happened, some nice rockets from Rocky managing to force everyone back there. Ben looks like he's going to lose his life as he tries to capitalize on that damage, but of course the crossbow exists, so that damage was mitigated almost instantly. These two soldiers jumping so far forward, trying to do such a lot. Hurts actually does lose his life there, but now the collapse is coming in, and Deft is the only one really in a fighting position. Actually, Spade in the rear, but he does get cleaned up really, really quickly. Deft losing his life, and this is now a full Uberad on the side of blue team.
This is... Do you know they've been fighting for a whole minute?
Yes.
They fought for a whole minute before either of the teams capped it out, which is incredible. But they are, again, opting to use his alleyway to the best of their advantage. And Rocky is in so deep, gets so much damage onto 3 players right there. And Ben decides to go in as well, but doesn't manage to find anything. Locke has actually found Spade. Spade does go down. It's just Heebs and Deft and Halfrong left alive right now. But we might see Spade coming back up on that sniper, maybe trying to get the pick on Soul.
Yeah, he did get caught out on that sniper just before when he died there, so it seems to be hard to break out as sniper. But Locke is actually quite far forward, taking a lot of damage. He is choosing to take that arrow and heal up behind the point, as this really aggressive trap play from Doge and Deft is just really playing off here. And then we do see a jump in from Spade trying to catch out Madness as he's too far forward, but he does actually get helped by his team there. And they're 3 down, and it looks like they're trying to go in for an Uber trade at 3 down. No, they do manage to run away there, and Halfrong does survive at the very end, and it is still even Ubers, but the point is now 150 in the favor of blue team compared to red team's 3 minutes, Lucky.
Oh, indeed. But since they now have even Ubers, we are seeing Elmo decide he wants to hide, but it does get picked off, which is really good for their team now, because if they take a trade, they're going to be going into a 6v5 situation. But Spade, as I say that, he does die as well. But Rocky is on top of the point right now, getting shepherded off by Hertz right now. But Ben is in really deep, does manage to find the Uber. There is flashing all over the place, and the red team have a better Uber right now, so let's see if they can stay in for this one, but they decide to opt against it and just get the cap instead. But we could see a recommit coming out soon from the blue team as they are starting to get their spawners in. We are seeing that as Hertz comes running in, and Madness is also into death, and they'll get so much damage. Rocky manages to find the Erebus. Spade is onto Soul right there, but unfortunately Soul survives. He manages to not crater, but they are managing to get to point back as Soul survived on, I believe it was around 8 HP right there.
Yeah, phenomenal surf from Soul to just sort of strafe around that corner without cratering. That's really lucky, I feel, compared to the way full damage is calculated in TF2. But yeah, that was a really, really nice collapse coming in from red team. It did look like they had lost that initial fight, but their sort of focus calls, I think, did actually win them that fight in the end, as we do see now a Reeve push happening. Because Soul survived, it means that they can really fight. But actually, I say that, and Spade takes down Soul. Really quick jump. They do lose 2 for that instantly, and the health is so low, but Halfrong is down on 17 HP. He's running for his life back to that spawn cabinet, and that has kind of stumped that push, but I don't know if blue team will be able to play the point here, and it looks like they're just happy to let this timer come down, and they're just going to see if they can get force on Halfrong as he walks in now.
Yeah, I mean, now would be the perfect time for a sack wave. I mean, they have the minute on the clock, they have time for it, they just got to decide to play the clock instead, as Halfrong is indeed left out to dry. He doesn't want to save his team with you, but does manage to find it onto Rocky right now, so well played for them to go onto the players instead of going straight for that medic. But we do see Elmo coming in from behind, doesn't manage to find the kill unfortunately onto Halfrong, does manage to get 1 rocket off, but now Soul has a really big Uber advantage, so all they have to do is build this one out, come in with the Uber, retake the point and start ticking down that clock once again.
Yeah, that was quite a nice Uber actually coming in from red team, as they did manage to focus those out of position players really cleanly. Unfortunately, yeah, as you say, Soul did manage to get out. So this is their ad and their push, and we do see them favouring this alley side, although the combo seems to be holding around the other side of this building, which lets them get a lot of space walking forward. Hertz forwards in and dies. Looks like Elmo may die too. Soul actually does get cleaned up by Heebs in the backlines while we're all saying this. That is now 70 to 90% Uber ad on the side of Halfrong. No, Halfrong cleans up Locke, but he does actually die in the very end, and this point is now being played. Times are super even, Lucky. This is a really close game.
Oh, it is indeed, but Halfrong got bullied into a corner right there. Someone called a bully hunt, as that man has been forced to do things he did not want to do. And they are now starting to make their way into the alley area once again. A few players deciding that they want to go for that underpass, and looks as if Soul has a tiny bit of an Uber advantage, but probably not much. They'll be playing.
Rocky has managed to get in behind. Soul is super low. If Rocky can hit one more rocket, and he does. Wow, really well played from Rocky. He's in that position to make that play and he just goes for it. Although Elmo onto Halfrong right at the very end. It's just Doge alive and he's trying to run away, but they do trade Halfrong for that point and there's very little in between it. There's not enough time for an Uber from either team here, so this is going to be a pure DM slash heals fight here, Lucky, as we're fighting for what seems to be the very last cap.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised. Oh, okay, they haven't opted for it, but they could have got a crit screen charge. That would have been the play for me at least. And but they are starting to fight already. They don't care. Black team are just coming forward. They don't need player advantage to start fighting. They've taken high ground. Both soldiers in onto Sol straight away. Double soldier aggression straight away is really strong in that situation. But the scouts were just staring at them the entire time they died. But Doge does go down as well by heaves. And it looks like they are going to win out this fight in the end, but Hyce is trying his best to get onto the scouts, but can't manage to get anything, is getting just scattered away right there. But they are going to have time for another spawn wave, so we are going to see another fight take place in around a few seconds.
Yeah, that was really well played. They all turned around for the Spades bomb, and that put a lot of people out of position. Heaps looks like he's going to get floated, yeah, and Crater there, unfortunately. Locke is having a fight with both soldiers, does lose that. The Uber is actually used from Halfrong. He managed to build that. And everyone else is like all over the point though, and this Uber is not enough right at the very end. Everyone's so low. Crossbow's coming in, but the counter Uber from Sol has come in. Looks like they need to have unubered players on the point right now. It's just played in the right second there. They nearly did the LAN play of not having someone cap and losing the round. Was that I-50 something? I can't remember. That was pretty funny though.
That was hilarious, but yeah, they haven't actually got spawners. They have time to fight this. They can go in once more. So we are going to see the scrappiest fight you've ever seen, but Def gets an early rocket thrown to his face, and Elmo is actually in onto him. Losing your demo so early is so disastrous, but they have got a little bit of cap time. They're standing on the point right now so desperately as though they've got a player disadvantage, but no, they all die, and it's just Halfrong left alive, unfortunately.
Some phenomenal pipes from Doge there, keeping them in that fight. He double piped a scout, I believe, right at the very end there, which was crucial for his team taking that fight, as that is now 2-1. In Australia, we play it first to 3. We don't do halves or anything like that. So the next round, if blue team wins, that's their map. And if red team wins, we'll have to go to another one. But we are in on this mid. Spade is initiating really deep, and they catch out Elmo as he's really too far forward. And now we've just seen Spade reinitiating over this mid. Rocky following up with him, but the scout play of Hertz and Madness is just too strong. Madness taken down really low. But Locke has managed to find his way in the rear, and that's some nice rockets onto Halfrong. Unfortunately, Deft hits a pipe, and Locke isn't dead. He's not out of this just yet. He does manage to jump back to the point, and they're all healing up, regrouping, taking their crossbows. As this point now goes to blue team, goes to Madmen. Lucky.
Yeah, indeed. Halfrong did want to try and start getting out. Deft wanted to stay in a little bit longer, however, but even if Halfrong did want to get out underpass, he would have still died because the log decided he wanted to come through there. But we are seeing Rocky once again bombing all the way through, managing to use that area right there with the Ironcast sheets. But they are making their way all the way through, actually. They just decided to get the super trade out of them, but Halfrong doesn't even have anything right now. Maybe it would have been better to send a sack wave and not send your medic in right there, just like on Viaduct, so use the same similar play, but they do all fall, and they get nothing out of it. No kills, Sol is a little bit weak, but I'm sure he'll heal up by the time they get the next wave in.
He did use his Uber charge though, so that's not the worst. They do have about 20% still add, so that's not too bad, but it's, you know, it's not worth losing 4 or 5 people for. And that trap was disgusting, and he's just doing so much damage with his stickies. Doge is such a good player, and he's doing so much damage. So they're really walking far forward. There's a forward hold coming out here. Actually, this is the first forward hold we've managed to see. Looks like unfortunately they've picked the wrong side, as the stickies don't actually find anyone, and they're forced to back right out as everyone pushed out the left side from the attacker's perspective. And now we've got some plays coming in from underpass here. These stickies doing so much damage from Doge there, as he's just forcing people back. Deft loses his life. Heaves loses his life. Does manage to trade for that demo though, but everyone is just fighting the messy fight there, and Halfrong is forced to back out to preserve his life there, Lucky.
Red are really struggling right now to get anything done. They may want to opt for another sniper play. That would maybe be the angle they want to take if they want to get some desperation plays coming in. But they opted against sending another sack wave because they now have their Uber. We do see a pause, I believe.
Yeah, I think this is our first pause of the night. This sort of situation, yeah, I agree. It could be something as simple as sending a four-man sack, or something like that. We do actually see the unpause come in now, and actually Rocky is jumping forward, and the Ubers have been traded on Deft and on the Scout and demo of Blue Team there. And Deft is actually forcing Doge right backwards, but no one else can really get to him, and the rest of his team is running forward. Rocky does manage to get Soul, but that feels like it may be a consolation frag, as they're all forced so far backward, and Halfrong does lose his life to Lock. These suicide bombs are doing so much work. They clean up Ben spawning right at the end there. Hertz might be trying to go for something sneaky here, as he's trying to possibly spawn camp. But he's changed his mind. Actually, no, he's hiding behind one of the few props here, the one rock, and he's running forwards, but Deft is going to spot him. No, he does manage to clean up Deft in the rear. Oh my goodness, big play from Hertz, and they are pretty stumped there. They're not actually managing to get too far forward. They're trying to wrap around the point through this alley, but Doge is back up, and this damage is coming back in. Spade manages to dome Lock, actually, but that's all that they're going to get. That's, such damage coming out of Doge, man. He's so good. The demo is jumping forward. Deft is trying to see what he can do in that last-minute desperation play. But that was a super dominant fight, actually, from Madmen there, Lucky.
They didn't have the right config to keep. That's fantastic. But yeah, that was super dominant coming out from that last round. They just managed to rotate their Ubers and their heals a little bit better than everyone else did on the enemy team, and that's probably in the end what caused them to win the game so dominantly, because they just had absolute point presence, point control the entire time. It was really well played. They managed to figure out the map, figure out where they needed to play, and they got it done. They just did it, man.
Yeah, it was very impressive play. I think it comes down to Soul, really, his experience in the game in general, compared to Halfrong's play, I think really helped his team win that. But if you look at the logs, which I believe we have up on stream either now or very soon, Doge completely pounded, 11,000 damage. He was 3 damage a minute too much, unfortunately, for the mythical 420 DPM. Got 423, which is unfortunate, but I mean, when you're carrying your team that hard, what else can you do? He was just pumping out damage left, right, and center. Anyone was on his screen, they took a sticky. It was crazy. But we do see Madness coming back into form a little bit as well, as he managed to get 32 frags, the most frags in the server. Not necessarily the most damage, but it's really impressive to see Madness playing up at this level again compared to a few years ago, where he was definitely one of the top 2. Who stands out to you on these logs, Lucky?
Well, I mean, just to go back on your previous point real quick, but who needs to do damage when Doge does all the damage and steals it all for you? But to me, the things that stood out for me mainly, less than the logs, because I like to shy away from those. Heebs, in fact, did a really good job for his team. He just took all the right fights in the right times, and managed to get as many frags as he possibly could on the cleanups. But he was a bit of a stand-up player for me on the enemy team, and probably my MVP for the entire game, actually, because I just thought he was the sort of underdog in this game. He really did show up, though, however.
Yeah, my other player to look out for on the red team was, I think, Rocky. Rocky was doing very well. He's known in the Australian community as having some of the best soldier DM around. And he usually plays a really, really heal-heavy pocket, and he did take about 25%, which is a little more than he has been taking recently, but I feel that's just because of the nature of the map, and it was very soldier-heavy, and you could use that to jump, and he's very good at jumping too, and he was the one, if we look at his medic frags, I believe he got the most in the server. Yeah, he got 7, although Locke also managing to get 7 onto Halfrong. It felt like... Locke's frags onto Halfrong were always in answer to Rocky's frags onto Soul. It always felt that Rocky was initiating and having that really sort of forward play, which is really great to see out of your pocket.
Indeed. But I want to know what the chat know as well. So if you're supporting Madmen in the chat, can we get a Ming Lee? And for Unanimous Confusion, can we get a Pog Champ in the chat? That'd be absolutely fantastic. But we are going to be moving into our next map now. So if you're in the mindset of what is it? Who lost that one?
Unanimous Confusion, as seems to be the case. Yeah, I'm actually looking at the map really quickly. We expected to see Koth Synthetic, but it seems to be that they've gone to Reckoner. I'm not sure if I just read the order wrong or if they've changed their minds. I'm not sure what's happened here, but it looks like we may see some Reckoner come out. So we'll see some 5CP instead of some Koth, which is a little bit more interesting to cast in my opinion, just because there's a little bit more strategy going on in a Koth game sometimes, but in a 5CP game sometimes. But so it looks like we're going to see these two teams face off on Reckoner. Now, Reckoner was last played quite a few seasons ago, and this is the first time we're seeing it since the map maker has updated the second point area, and the lobby area has changed a little bit, I believe, in terms of the so I think it's called cargo, actually. Drop down and all that kind of stuff has been added. So, and the point has been moved from the ground to the top on mid. So it has changed a little bit, and I'm interested to see how it'll play with these two fairly high level teams. On basically the first outing we've seen. Not many people have been scrimming in preparation for this, so I'm keen to see how it'll play. Do you have any predictions or any ideas how this might go from just that one game that you saw, Lucky, or is this completely up in the air for you?
Koth is a bit of a different ball game, especially when you're playing with a new map where teams are still experimenting. Even when you do go into these official games, teams are still experimenting. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Unanimous Confusion win it 3-2.
Going for the underdog. Yeah, it is. It's going to be very close. I reckon it will be a very close score. But yeah, we do head live into the first mid of our second map of our Summer Cup, one-day Summer Cup here for our Prem Grand Final. Deft and Doge both arriving at about the same time. Doge choosing to fight upper, and his whole team actually coming in through the lower point. Lockie doing so much damage with that one bomb, although his team is being forced back by Locke's positioning up there. Hertz does die in the end. Deft does lose his life to Elmo, and Rocky does die to Madness as well. Madness doing a lot of damage, and that is now 3 down on the side of blue team, and they're forced to run away, and that is red team taking our first mid, Lucky.
Yeah, Elmo decided he wanted to sink bomb at the end of that one and kill Deft, and that just sort of forced them all to go back, because they were just grouping up as one gigantic death ball on the right hand side there, and that sort of was their demise in the end, as they all took way too much damage standing in the same place, and they ended up losing 3, and that just sort of managed to get them out of the mid. But both medics survived, so we are now going to see a good old stalemate. So we might see some sack plays coming in, we might see just an Uber trade, but who knows, man? What do you reckon will happen?
We do see Hertz actually spawning on Sniper. Hertz is a very frightening sniper, so it'll be really interesting to see how that plays with the recent sightline changes on this map. The shutter being added to the top of Toxic, and some of the other little like the hut thing on second and around the forklift. We do actually see Ben sniping in retaliation too. Rocky goes in for a trade there and does lose his life there, for a sack rather, not a trade. Wow, I apologize. But yeah, we do see snipers up on both teams, and they're just sort of trying to work the sightlines here. But I feel that this point in particular has been made so much less sniper friendly. Although Halfwrong is surfing way far forward, and he surfs right into a jump of another soldier, and does force his Uber there. Heaves running forward to see if he can get anything, but Soul's positioning is way too good, and he's caught out completely. And now this is a full Uber ad as they're walking in through the Toxic area. Lucky.
Yeah, they are making their way straight in, but we are seeing Spade go all the way in pretty deep on the Soul. Both soldiers going, in fact, and Rocky bombs in as well, but it is looking like he's going to lose his life. And he does
Ben!
What a headshot coming out from Ben onto Soul! He goes down, and Madness is looking like he's going to just defend out this point now, but Ben is just trying to get out of there, but it does get cleaned away. Elmo and Doge. Doge did a really good job of sticking him off right there, but that was an incredible headshot, Xander.
Yeah, that's a feels bad, man, because he didn't take any damage from 2 soldiers jumping right into his face, and then he just gets owned right at the end of it. As yes, that's not what you want to have happen here, as he has spawned up, and they're now fighting this with quite a significant Uber disad. Looks like they're trying to back out of Toxic when this push eventually does come in, but I imagine they're going to try for this force. Hertz is still actually sniping, so we'll see. He's sniping from the cargo area. Madness and Locke actually both lose their lives to this Uber, but Hertz is actually taken down very low and dies too. They must have known that was ad. That was very sloppy play from them, and it's just Doge and Soul left to leave there, and this is a very disastrous position to be in, despite their large Uber advantage, Lucky.
It looks like they are gonna. They did get their forward spawns, so they are gonna cling to second point right now. As you said, they do have Uber advantage, but Halfrong is holding really far back right there. As we do see an early bomb coming out, Rocky. Unfortunately, looks like he's gonna get cleaned up right now, but is in fact living and escapes. No, Elmer does clean him up in the end, and it looks as if we are gonna have Sol popping out that Uber, and they are just gonna start getting the recap. But they do have a 2-man advantage on the side of the red team right now, so they are going to start moving their way in, maybe through Toxic, but Elmo is already in. He's jumping straight to Halfrong, just get 2 nice rockets, but unfortunately doesn't go down himself as Hyce manages to find the frag as well. He does find a frag, and is also getting caught out right now, and Hyce finds that one as well. Locked in a good job right there of muscling all the way in for his team. But Ben and the rest of his squad now have Uber, and they are moving all the way in right now as they have popped out that Uber. Unfortunately, they've had the point capped out already, so Ben is he's just left on his lonesome to try and do as much damage as he can, but he doesn't manage to find anything, so that is leaving red team with an Uber advantage. But they don't care about the Ubers, they just want to fight, man, and they are just trying to kill absolutely everyone. Sol is left to hang out to dry, and does manage to survive on his own. Absolute chaos right now.
Yeah, that was definitely not the plan that Unanimous Confusion wanted there. They expected the leapfrog to happen on midpoint, but the aggression came in and they actually managed to leapfrog second point. But now it is much more disastrous for them as this is a full Uber ad push into last. Rocky does lose his life there. There's loads of flashes there, but they're getting the frags that they need to. Ben walking around in the rear actually cleaning up, doing so much damage, but it is Hyce come in after fragging a couple of people on the flank, does come in on such low health and cleans up on that damage. And that was just pure aggression coming out to win them that round, and that is 1-0 in the favour of Madman Lucky.
It was indeed. I do believe in the team comms someone was screaming, "This is Sparta," and just decided they wanted to push at that point in time. I don't see the reason why they pushed, but they did it anyway, and it seemed to have worked. But anyway, we're seeing another take place right now, and Spade is already out in the mid, starting to become a submarine, goes under the point, does make a bomb into Sol, but in the end decides to swap his focus, but does get piped down by Doge. Nice pipe from him, but unfortunately, oh my god, double air shot coming out right there from Locke. He's amazing. Oh, that was incredible, and they are managing to get this point out right now as there is 4 players down even, sorry, on the side of the blue team right now. So that's the red team going to cap this one out, and then some.
Yeah, very, very well played from them there as they managed to regroup. As you say, some excellent DM coming in to help them win that, but their regrouping around their medic was much better after those 2 really early frags came in. They actually are forced out, using out to defend second here. I'm not sure what their thinking is when there's so many players down here, but looks like Doge is going to get caught out a little bit there as these Ubers fade, and the positioning is coming in actually on blue team, and that is some nice damage coming through into the toxic area and cleaning up a whole lot of frags there, and they're forced to back right out to mid as that is, again, like we talked about it a little bit before, and the off Uber push is really, really big. Oh, Lock.
How do you get into there and still manage to kill Halfrong when you have scouts staring at you? That was incredible coming in from Lock, but Sol does go down unfortunately, and Rocky does get cleaned up as well. We are seeing Madness does clean up though. He does kill Ben and he is making his way out onto the point. The scouts just have all of the high ground around. Doge is actually jumping in, and Deft is trying his best to get out of there. Madness is deciding to opt to chase, but does in the end eat a pipe and decides to walk backwards. So well played from them, but that was amazing. He managed to get all the way through a choke point with 2 scouts staring up at him and still finds the frag. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, that was that was pretty disgusting, to be honest. That's they just didn't expect it. There's a lot of plays that seem to be happening that are catching the other team off, like aggression at a time they wouldn't expect aggression, or things like that. Locke actually does manage to lose his life in the end there, but there's so much damage being pumped out right now. But as Doge is forced backwards to reload, it looks like Deft is in a position to start moving forward, as Rocky is quite far forward, dealing some damage here. Heaps does lose his life underneath, but Hertz is traded out instantly after, and these soldiers are taking the high ground and spamming them out, and that's a nice trap to get Ben right at the end there. But they are forced out. They can't really refight this midpoint before it caps, but they're choosing to commit anyway after the fact on their player ad, their 2-player ad. They're managing to...
Oh, he doesn't find anything.
Oh, he does. Halfrong does manage to leave to die as well. Rocky taken down solo. He should die too. Doge. Oh my goodness, what a crazy gamer. He is dealing the frags so well right now. And they do seem to be trying to break in. I think Ben may have been called. Madness looks like he's seen him hiding in the bush there. Yeah, he looks like he's going to lose his life underneath there. Deft is actually going to get caught out in lobby too. Spade is in behind on Sol though, and Sol just uses. He doesn't want to want to drop to that. He sees his team is too spread out there. They do manage to get the force, but it does lead to a situation that is pretty much even Ubers heading in towards this last. They're trying to fight it, but Rocky is on the Brass Beast heavy. The arrow is keeping him alive for a little bit longer, but they're now starting to play the point. Heaps hasn't taken any damage. No, he does actually get mulched right in the end there, and that aggression, yet again, coming in from Madmen, wins them a second round, Lucky.
Indeed. That was such a fast transition from second. They got that Uber forced, and then they managed to find enough players just off of pushing into second, and they managed to get all that last aggression coming off the back of it, which is really well played. But we are seeing a super fast run up from Deft. He just slides all the way up the staircase, and they are making their way into the mid right now. And Hyce getting some really early aggression off Deft, does land one meat shot onto his face, and then Spade, I don't know what I'm saying anymore. He does get cleaned up by Elmo though, however, and Rocky is trying to make his way across the point. Madness needs a rocket himself, and it looks like both teams are trying to take this mid ground. We are seeing the first soldier bomb come through, does get a bunch of damage onto Deft, but doesn't manage to find anything else. And we are seeing Elmo trying his best on the other side on the flip, and unfortunately gets caught out himself. Deft is just left on his own right now, does die. Rocky is trying to make his way all the way in to try and find Madness, does manage to find him as he is onto Half Wrong, and doesn't manage to get anything, but Half Wrong is just trying to escape on his own right now, out of second, but he is getting chased all the way into lower, but Spade is there with the rockets to defend his medic. But we are seeing the continuation of this chase, however. It's like a book that never ends, and Half Wrong is managing to get all the way out into last. How the hell did he survive that? That's nuts.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. It is the sacrifice play from Spade keeps him up and does make these Ubers even out. But everyone is so far forward there as this second point's capped. They're already in lobby. They have one off-class in Ben, and that's about all they have, as this sack is coming in right away from Hertz, and he does jump in, unfortunately not getting anything. But that is a, yeah, amazing mid there, and then the heist music playing as they're chasing forwards, trying to get that frag on Half Wrong. Does manage to survive there. Hertz does respawn on Sniper though, so we should see a Sniper v Sniper duel. Locke trying to take some space in that lobby, but nothing happening just yet. Does seem to be yet another stalemate, Lucky.
Indeed. Benton is, he couldn't really find the angle right there. They were holding a little bit too close to him, but he is now trying to peek his way through. He is charging up that shot on the right-hand side there. It looks like he's going to fire one out. Does unfortunately miss onto Locke's face. He is going to re-peek, however, and see if he can get anything done. Does in the end decide to back off, maybe change his angle, but Locke is moving all the way in, maybe seeing if he can find that kill onto the Sniper. But we also, on the flip side, are seeing Hertz starting to move his way in right now. They're all trying to find these angles and getting so deep, but I do hear a headshot ring out there, and Spade does get hit, and unfortunately goes down there. So it looks like oh my god, a nice headshot from Hertz again onto Heaves. Well play from him, and it looks as if they are going to now be able to push off of that. Hits another headshot!
That's actually Ben, yeah, Ben cleaning him up there, and that is actually 2 down on the side there. Soul actually does get his Uber forced out in this trade here, but the Soldier of Elmo does manage to get in behind, and now the stickies from Doge are coming in, but the players are still Ubered, and that's not what he expected to see. Is
Half Wrong.
Ubered players still there at the end of that Uber. It was a really long solo there, but they do manage to leapfrog this out towards second. They do seem to like want to re-push this. They look like they're just trying to spam it though. Nothing really serious in terms of committing there, as it does look like Madness may manage to get caught out. No, he does get out there. Rocky does lose his life, which is really really cool. Some nice stickies coming in there, and the soldiers are jumping in behind. Nice rockets onto Half Wrong from Elmo there, and he's dealing a lot of damage. Hertz is in the right spot to clean up from that. Unfortunately, he does get floated there, and they do trade, and it is just Soul alive with some very, very low health players on blue team.
I am astonished that Madness and Locke didn't get killed, as they were so far out of the point, but they didn't get stickied off at all, and I'm surprised that they managed to live for so long as they did, just off the back of that, because they had nothing to stand on. They didn't have a tripod, an extra leg to stand on for that one, but now they have Uber advantage, so it looks like we are going to see a retake. I mean, they have got 2 rounds on the board. They can decide to do whatever they want, really, and they have got 17 minutes left on the clock, however, so they've got enough time to make anything happen on the side of the blue team.
Yeah, they would probably want to play this a little bit far back and see if they can send people in for a force. Like, nothing super exciting in terms of video gameplay here, but they just need to get this force out here. They do actually choose to use in really early. They drop Hertz, indeed. Half Wrong gets piped by Doge. Oh my goodness. There is a back cap here. 2 people have managed to leak behind for this back cap, and the Soldier is trying to fight it, but it's too little too late. Heaves is going to get this. the soldier is trying to block it just for the little bit.
No!
Oh, they do manage to get it right at the very end. That is absolutely crazy. And now they're jumping towards the point, but Hertz is spawning, jumping out. Everyone's low health. He might actually manage to do this. Yeah, Hertz does clean them up in the end. Drops the fat taunt on last point there, and they haven't actually made a move to recap this despite being players up. I don't know. Yeah, I assume Hertz is going to do that. Yeah, there we go. Hertz is capping that point, and they're just moving forward onto mid, seeing if they can catch out people, and they do manage to actually no, not catch out anyone else. They do lose their life, unfortunately. There, that's 2 down. They did get a little bit too greedy with that positioning there. Lucky.
Yeah, Spade decided he wants to go into last, doesn't find anything because he had 2 soldiers to fight against. Does manage to find one, but doesn't get the other. But Doge is actually taking loads of spam right now, and they're just seeing if they can get the super up, and then they're going to make their way in, as they are holding rather close right now. If they decide to jump through, then they are going to find half.
Oh my god, they find it before the Uber is even used, as Elmo jumps through and frags him, and that's an easy frag there. Lots of low health on blue team here, as the pipes are starting to come in. Pipes from Doge are just insane today. He's hitting so much damage all the time. Some fighting going down on the underground lower bit there. Lock taunting on 3 health, and some choice words being put in chat by Elmo at the end there. But yeah, it's just Half-Wrong again trying to lead his way out. Doesn't look like he'll be able to leave there. Oh, that is Ben up on the sniper, doming one player who was too far forward. Does look like this is going to be a full ad push into last though.
They don't even need to push on the full ad. They don't even need to get the Uber, because Half-Wrong got picked up by Hertz. And although they do lose Locks, and maybe that's now out the window, as Ben is now threatening those headshots. I do hear another one ring out, and it looks as if Elmo is going to get out of dodge, and he's going to use the burger gun to jump all the way out right there. And they are just going to hang on to second right now. So looks like it's going to stabilize for a few seconds, but Sol now does have a Uber. Rocky is trying to get in onto him. Doesn't manage to find the rockets, but they do just pop the Uber instead. There are players close, and Deft is just left on his own, and Hurst has managed to find the frag, and that looks like it's going to be a round in the favour of the red team right there.
Yeah, that's a complete wipe on the side of blue. That Uber, they were really far forward because they wanted to force it, I guess, but it was, they were all far forward, so they got mulched by it, which is not the best way of playing Ubers, I guess. But now that is 3-0 the side of Madmen, which is a very dominant showing from them as we head into our 4th mid, Lucky.
Aye, indeed. Maybe a little bit of mis-super counting, but who knows? Maybe we'll find out later. But Heebs is in really deep right now, and Ben using both of these scouts to just block off the slope area right now, and Elmo is bombing straight in onto these scouts, and they do manage to find so much damage. Madness trying to go for the cleanup, but doesn't get cleaned up himself, however. And we are seeing the soldiers of Spade going straight behind. They are trying to get onto Sol and the rest of the combo right now as he starts to wrap around, and he is deciding to opt to go through drop down right now and try and get his way in. And it looks like he's going to find one rocket onto Sol, but does not manage to find another. And it looks as if it's going to start to stabilize, but Sol actually manages to find a bit of an Uber advantage off the back of that one. As Doge is in really deep right now, he's left on his own. But we are seeing Rocky jump all the way in, and he finds the frag.
Rocky does jump forward and kill Sol there, and that is yet again another answering frag onto the medic of Half-Wrong there. And the soldiers actually some nice rockets from Elmo coming up there. Imagine getting crushed by Elmo while he's playing soldier.
It's upsetting to see. Like, they had a really good scenario going on for them right there, but they lost everything just by being really over-aggressive. Maybe they need to start slowing down the pace of this game, understanding the situation a little bit better, and organising the team a little bit stronger. But Spade is actually managing to hide right there. Elmo jumps straight past him, doesn't even blink, but still doesn't spot him. Okay, he spotted him now, but he is going to go in. But we are seeing another fight take place on the mid, however, and we are seeing Locke unfortunately getting taken down. But Elmo does find Spade, and that's going to be good, as they now are in a 4-5 situation, but Ben is moving in on that sniper.
Yeah, Ben is doing a lot of damage there, but he does actually lose his life at the very end there. Half-Wrong does go down to an excellent bomb from Elmo as he gets the sniper, the demo, and everyone, and it's just Rocky up as he's fighting on point. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to win this situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, this is just turning into straight madness. Pushing for good reason. They did have player advantage. Oh, nice air shot coming out from Spade right there. But they just push on stupid advantages and put themselves in the wrong position, and then they get cleaned up. Especially when they have Ben on sniper, they make less aggressive plays. As I say that though, Ben is now paying for his own life. But Locke is actually onto Half-Wrong right now. Doesn't find anything. But that's going to fizzle out right now, so they are going to make their way into second right now, Xander.
Yeah, it seems like they're feeling the pressure of this time. They have about 12 minutes left and they need to make these plays. And this is the first situation where they've had a really good chance at pushing this last. It's even Ubers, but they do have... this is the best situation we've seen them in all game in terms of a last push. So they do have an engineer up, actually. Elmo playing engineer, putting his sentry in what used to be the bushes there, which was a very, very good spot. Been replaced by a little box thing. Oh no, he's actually moving it to the bushes. Yeah, this used to be the strat. Seven's forward hold was very good when they had that gun there, and they would hold forward in lobby. When they were playing this map, it was pretty unbeatable. Actually, Elmo does get domed by Ben as they are setting up for this even Ubers trade with one player ad, but there is the Brass Beast Putus on lock, and there is the level 2 gun from Elmo. It does seem like it's going to be very hard for anything to happen. Here, Spade trying to jump forward, I think, hits his head. Nothing really happens there. Ben domes Hurts again as he's trying to sort of rotate through the spawn there. Ben actually is taken down very low, as is Locke. Locke is getting picked out. They're taking their picks one at a time. Really, really well played, actually, and they're catching the players out that are too far forward. The gun goes down, and now finally the Ubers are committed into this last. Does look like it's a little bit of a better Uber from blue team, but the players are jumping forward, and they're just getting caught out a little bit here. But the frags and the damage are definitely on the side of blue team. Deft playing the point, dealing quite a lot of damage to the players that he needs to, and it's just the spawners coming in lock there. Heaps down. Heaps does manage to get him down, and it's just Soul. Heaps is beefing onto Soul. They're going to get another spawner. No, there you go. That's the first round on the board for Unanimous Confusion, and that is 3-1 with about 10 minutes left. It's technically possible for them to win this, I think, still, but it is definitely very close, and they're going to be feeling this time pressure as we head into this next mid, Lucky.
Oh, indeed. Locke, unfortunately, on that last point may have cost him that one, as he was way too far forward on the Brass Beast Heavy. But we are going to see another mid take place right now, and Hertz is managing to get that high ground again, but instantly conceding it as he sees that there are plenty of players on the other side of it. And we are seeing an early bomb coming out from Spade right there. Lands two nice rockets really early on, but Madness is starting to get that high ground for his team, managing to keep it all forward for his team. But loads of ill players, damaged players on the side of the blue team. We are seeing Locke try and bomb in, start getting up on that aggression, but Ben is really low right now. They are all just waiting for arrows, standing still, but we are seeing the counter aggression from Rocky, and they do manage to find the frag onto Locke eventually. But it looks like they're just getting out with Soul and Doge, and they are starting to wrap around once again as he's just going through the underpass area right now. And is managing to get out behind him. He is going to get straight onto Doge right there, but I don't know if he's going to go down at all, as they are just starting to get the damage. But he does get piped, and Doge just stares at him like, okay.
Drops
maybe
the "you suck" in chat. That's some quality gameplay that we're witnessing right there. Excellent. Hertz is actually really far forward and drops half wrong. Wow, half wrong not forcing to that. That's an error that was like probably not forced there. I think that's definitely something that was his fault there. Unfortunately, Soul has full ad now as they cap into mid, and they're heading into second with only 2 players up on the other team.
This is Heaps has actually managed to find his way in behind right now. He's just sitting in the corner, and but he's maybe going to go for a backcap play as he opts not to, but does find Elmo and does find the frag really early. But he actually manages to stay alive, but that's to the detriment of his team, as they are already on to last with the Uber. And Rocky is trying his best to fight as many Uber players as he can. Does get really low right there. Is still alive on the escape plan. Does go down to Hertz.
Heaps comes in at the very last minute and gets 2 frags. Baiting your team pays off. That's what we learned today. But yeah, Soul is running away now. Meets up with his team in the Toxic Barrels area. We do see this second cap out their way. It looks like they'll be able to hold mid. Nothing really funky happening in terms of off classes here. We do see Locke jumping forward, trying to get a frag there. Does lose his life, but we've managed to trade players there, and they're actually swarming forward, and there's a lot of damage on the field, but people are just way too far forward. Yeah, Elmo, Madness, and Locke were all way too far forward in front of their team. Doge lives by hitting some amazing pipes. Unfortunately, does kill himself with his next one. Soul looks like he's going to get fragged. Oh. He takes Spade with him though.
Alright, this needs to be addressed right now. To dear Mr. Madman, we know you have round advantages, but you can't just push off nothing. That's not how that works. But Locke is trying to get in really deep right now, and they are just... Why are they sacrificing players? They're trying to get onto half wrong, but they have no idea where he is. So they just die, and now they're all wiped, and they're going to get pushed back to last. What are you doing? Come on, guys.
Yeah, I feel this is a little bit of BM coming out, possibly, as they're just trying to feed and add to Halfwrong's drop counter, I imagine. But this, yeah, as you say, this is their full Uber walking into last now. They haven't capped second yet, and they're already committing to last. The Uber is forced in. Soul is taken down very, very low, actually, and does end up dying there. Hertz's gun does get taken down, and the point is being played already. Ben is taken down very low. The soldiers jumping in get absolutely mulched by the Putus, but that is point being played. Just Lock. He can't really do anything, and that is the second round. 2-3. Now, this is not quite the scoreline you predicted, but it's the other way around, so... It is a close game. It's turned into a close game, but I feel that is mainly through Madmen throwing just a little bit. See if they take things a little bit seriously as we head into this next mid, Lucky.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so indeed. Doge is already getting some early stickies off, trying to block off that house area. Decides not to detonate, and now detonates, but doesn't manage to find anything off the back of those two stickies landing at their feet. But they are just playing rather passive right now. But Soldier's jumping across rather early, don't manage to land anywhere significant, so they haven't got any positional advantage. Just Spade manages to get lower, does get cleaned up, however. We are seeing Heaves take a 1v1. Mrs. does win that one out, but Rocky finds Lock, and then in return, Elmo finds Rocky as well. Heaves finds Madness, and Elmo is left all alone in the lower area right now. Almost a sticky finds him, but not quite, so he is in behind right now. So let's see if he can make anything happen.
Yeah, it looks like he might just sort of see if he can either spawn camp, or he looks like he is committing into the mid. They've seen him though. I don't know what the goal is here. See if he can get out. He's not getting out. That's a feed from Elmo just there. But yeah, now it's even Uber's onto last with Elmo trying to sort of sacrifice from the rear. It's not the best position. We do see Ben and actually followed by the rest of his team committing through Toxic. They do actually seem to catch out a few players there. Ben loses his life, but Deft is traded and trades out with Hertz instantly there. And the Ubers have been traded here. Doge trying to get out, but he's getting absolutely juggled. And he will... no, Madness saves him there. And Halfwrong loses his life to Madness as well. Heaves too. Madness going into Farmville there and just planting his crops. that was
what you just said, Xander, I'm going to give you a round of applause for that Farmville reference right there. But Spade is just on the point right now, just trying to chill out, but he does get almost gets cleaned up by Hertz, in fact. But it looks like Red are just going to do a retake. They need to start calming down because they are just starting to get into stupid positions. Why are they fighting again? Doge is already onto, Ben finds it, but Lock finds the airshot onto the scout, but they do manage to get a retake off of nothing. They just push on no advantage. They don't care. They are just all the way in. But they are managing. They don't actually cap mid yet. So they're also there's a. Okay, yeah, they have cap mid. Sorry, I'm being an idiot. But they are now capping second, and Sol actually has an Uber advantage. If he knows about this, it is enough to push off of us. Halfwrong is nowhere near, but Spade actually now does decide that he wants to play Spy and is on it now. But they have 3 minutes to convert this into a draw/win. So Spade needs to get work done if he's opting for this Spy and not take his time on this one as much as you want to do it on Spy.
It's definitely doable, but he does get spotted out instantly by Lock. That's not what you want. But this is easily doable. 3 minutes to push this last can be done. We do have a sniper up on Hertz as he's actually walking quite far forwards. Elmo loses his life to a trap as he's trying to distract for his sniper, but nothing ends up happening from that, and that is now one down, and they're trying to take lobby off it. Hertz is in a really interesting position, actually. I didn't know you could get there as sniper. He manages to dome Ben. That is a disgusting sightline. I'm very impressed with that. He is sort of moving forward, trying to watch this little right shutter door area, see if he can do anything. Nothing really happening here, as we do see Ben spawning now. Ben actually does respawn on the sniper, so we should see a little sniper v sniper action as Elmo is trying to solidify their hold by building up the engineer class. Do you reckon sniper's the way to break this, or do you reckon you would try something different, Lucky?
I mean, the sniper sightlines not exactly the best. In this last. Sure, you've got long lines, but it's better for an aerial assault, I'd say, so I'd actually sticky jump the demo through. That's what I'd be doing, because I'm fun like that. And
do the alley sack.
Yeah. Just get all the way in, straight onto the medic, force that Uber out, and then if they come in to try and fight you afterwards, because you've lost your demo, then you just take the Uber onto them and you destroy them with your soldiers and your scouts. You know, it's alright to lose a demo in the sack on this last, in my opinion, since it is the easiest way to get in. Alternatively, however, we are seeing Hertz out on the sniper as well, Ben on the sniper, but nice headshot around there.
Doge gets 2, Heaps and Rocky in, but Spade is in on Soul. Soul does actually manage to. That's an excellent use, actually, right before the midi hits him. Halfrong is left by himself with 100% Uber already out on mid. That was a crazy det from Doge. Yeah, as he does manage to clean up those players. They're regrouping on mid, so it looks like they'll be able to hold mid with their 100% ad, and they're hopefully going to try to leapfrog it, but we've seen some crazy stuff happening. Locke is in exactly the right position, hits some nice rockets, and the force is made super early. Does lose his life, but this Uber is already half over by the time they exit Toxic. And we do see Hertz up on the Putus as they're just trying to slow it down because they know they have just about 2 minutes left. They want this this messy fight, this slow fight. Rocky trying to jump in, trying to do anything that he can, but he's just going to get absolutely mulched in the garden bed. Some fertilizer for those bamboo shoots right at the very end. But they have already seemed to take lobby, and it is actually 2 down on each side. Locke actually just comes up spawning now. So this is the crucial last 60 seconds as they're going to try to flood in see if they can get some Uber out of Soul here. Spade is right in. Spade, Soul doesn't want to use to that, but there is a scout running towards him on the other side. He's not using just yet, taken down to 70 health. He's got some kahunas, as they say. Halfrong trying to hit some swords, see if he can get something, but he loses his life, and that's probably the nail in the coffin for this map, as there's the last 30 seconds here, Lucky.
I'm gonna scream GG. That is just it. That's it. They can't do anything. Soul has Uber. He just when it gets down to 5 seconds, they've got 20 seconds left. 20-second countdown, and then pop Uber on the point. You're done. That's it. You've won. Congratulations. This map is yours. And but Doge just finds Spade with the pipes and the sticky combo. But Heaps is trying his best at the spy right now for whatever reason. He decides to opt for the spy right there. Ben is also in on the last, but he gets cleaned up as well. Bit of miscoordination there, even if they are trying to get in on this last. And Doge nearly dies, but that is it. It's all over. They have it.
Yeah, that was really well played. There's a lot of messy stuff right at the end there, as I think Mad Men were, I hesitate to say throwing, but they were playing with questionable decisions, we'll say, right at the end. But yeah, it was a interesting game to cast with some really good back and forth at the end. Unfortunately, I think Hyce, our map maker, has actually gone to bed because it is like, I don't know, arse o'clock in the morning in America. I have no idea what time it is, but he's probably staying up way too late in order to just pop into our mumble and say 2 or 3 words. We thank him so much for that because we are, again, more than happy to work with map makers who are keen and excited to change their maps based on the community feedback, which was kind of one of the reasons why we chose all these kind of new maps for these summer cups, both to test them out to see if they fit our league, but also to give map makers feedback, which they wouldn't necessarily get, because as he said before, yeah, things like that. Oh yes, we were just talking about you guys. How are you doing? What time is it in America right now?
It is 2:40 a.m. in the morning. I am on the west coast of America, so, and I work quite a weird schedule, so I've been awake for more than a day. I can't keep track anymore.
Well, we thank you for your dedication in popping into our humble little mumble right at the end here. Just to sort of, thank you for working on these maps. It's great to have map makers still actively working on TF2 maps 10 years after its release date, and we just hope that we can provide you a forum to both test these maps in an organized play and also to see some league play, which is, I know, your ultimate goal for as a map maker.
Well, I absolutely appreciate everything ozfortress has done. I mean, out of any league, I mean, you guys, as of lately, have been absolutely wonderful in helping me get testing on anything. I mean, Logjam, I hadn't updated Logjam in a long time. I hadn't touched the maps in a long time, and it was discouraging, I hadn't worked on them in a long time, and it's like, well, whatever, the game's going the way it's going, whatever, and then you guys, we're going to test Logjam in. It was like, oh man, they're going to put Logjam in, okay, well, I should update it, and I should look at this other map, and I had these ideas, and, maybe I'll try all this stuff, and now I've got 3 maps in process, including Logjam, and the fact that you guys are willing to put them in and try them is kind of rekindled my love for TF2 and making maps for TF2. So I think it's helped spur a new generation of TF2, and I think it's going to be wonderful moving forward. So I absolutely appreciate and respect everything you guys have done for me. So thank you very much for allowing my maps to be part of your pool. So much appreciated.
Oh. That's very wholesome. Oh, that was so cute. I have to say that your map is excellent. I really enjoyed casting it. It looks even more fun to play. It looks like you can get some new exciting strategies. Everything's a bit out in the open with this one. Teams can play around with it, and it'll be interesting to see how it shapes up in the future, because I'm sure we'll see it again. And I don't know about you, Xander, but I thought that these games, the games are excellent, apart from the big old feed fest on Reckoner at the end there.
Yeah, definitely. It got a little crazy at Reckoner on the end, but Waterton itself played really well. If anyone who's been watching the stream has any feedback based on watching that stream, or even if any of the people who just played that game have any feedback, do they have somewhere that you can get that feedback, Hyce?
Absolutely. I've got threads on teamfortress.tv. I've got threads on tf2maps.net for all of my maps, Logjam, Waterton, or Alamosa. If that doesn't work out, if guys want to post things in Discord, on the ozfortress Discord, I read the ozfortress Discord.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Send things my way. They can send me Discord messages. They can add me on Steam. Whatever works. I try to read as much as I can, because I want to make the maps as good as I can for you guys. Because anything I can do to make fun maps for you guys to play is rewarding for me as well as it is for you guys. So that's my goal. So.
Yeah, well, hopefully we see more maps of yours in play. I know personally, every at the end of every season we have a poll as to what happens and what maps should be played. I've voted for Logjam for the last 5 years or so, so I'm super keen to play Logjam again, and I was so happy to see it included in the pool. Which is, yes, I do have a soft spot for that map. So thank you in particular for making that map for me. I really love it. Ever since watching the Logjam Cups on ETF2L ages ago, that was, really, really about the time that I got into competitive TF2 was when people were playing Logjam, and it's just got such a soft spot in my heart. So thank you so much for making these maps. But I guess over the next few days, we'll have some feedback filtering in through various channels, and hopefully it'll be useful for you, and hopefully it'll be useful for the admins as well, for not just ozfortress but any other league that's interested in playing your maps as well, whether you'd like to see them back in ETF2L or ESEA back in North America. It would be fantastic to see them played again, because again, I have a huge soft spot for these maps, and it's great to have a creator who's so keen to work on feedback and all that kind of stuff. Do you have any questions that you'd like to ask Hyce, Lucky, before we sort of head to the end of our stream?
Yeah, I've read a few of the messages in chat about the Cough Waterton map, and it's something that to me I really enjoy with maps as a little extra on the side. But in terms of how you like to texture and style your maps, is there anything that we can look forward to in terms of sort of style? Because I know in other maps you got that Chinese style, you got that sort of minor town style. What do you reckon we'll see out of Waterton in the future apart from this, or are you going to just keep it as stock dev?
No, it's not going to be stock dev. Dev, of course, it's an alpha map, so it was always concerned with the geometry and how things play before beauty, as it were. Waterton, it's going to be interesting to see how it comes out. I've kind of been reading the polls and seeing what people want, and kind of trying to find out what people want out of theming, because I love the classic TF2 theming. I love the look of Badlands, the gravel pit, there's a classic TF2 feel, but a lot of the other styles are very cool as well. So with all the maps I've got, Logjam's very set as it is, of course, but the Waterton and Alamosa, the two that are very fresh in development, they could kind of end up any way. So if anyone's got any ideas or anyone's got any strong opinions, I'd love to hear them. So they could go any real way at this point still. So we're kind of excited to see how they go.
Do you find it's easier to work on a Koth map or like a 5CP map? Is it a preference, or is it just a size thing?
Well, at the end of the day, I think the King of the Hill map is extremely easier to work on. you've got, I mean, essentially, King of the Hill map is a middle control point, like a 5CP map, plus a lobby or some sort of space working up to the point. You know, you're talking about routes to a point, a rollout, and then how to balance those points versus 5CP. You're concerned about a midpoint, a second point, a last point. You know, how do you hold the last? How do you hold the mid? How do you hold the second? How do you hold the second if you've capped the enemy's second? Everything, you know, plays differently. How do you balance the respawn times? There's so many little details that go into a 5CP map that make them tremendously more complicated to work on. A King of the Hill map is infinitely easier to work on for a developer in terms of optimization, in terms of just streamlining and making things easier. So King of the Hill is way easier to work on.
Yeah, I can.
Sure. All right. Well, I think we'll really quickly, we might just sort of have a brief look at logs, sort of talk about the actual end of the game, because we didn't actually manage to do that. There's not, for me, the standout player again is Doge. Like, he had such a great game. He's really one of the best demos in Australia right now. Like, he is playing out of his mind in the last sort of like few months. Hope to see him go to a LAN eventually, but you never know. But yeah, he got 31 frags, which I think is the highest in the server. Actually, no, Madness getting 35, so ever so slightly higher than him. But also 12,000 damage, which is about, 3,000 damage, 2,000 damage more than anyone else in the server, which is absolutely crazy. But I think the main story really, in terms of going to the deciding point between the two, comes down to the medic stats in terms of survivability. Half Wrong dying 13 times and Soul dying 7 times. It's just, just that kind of difference there really translates into about 3,000 heals difference, which is really enough to move on and to win those maps. Do you have anything that stands out to you in these logs, Lucky? Or
yeah, we always like talking about some of the good ones. Doge doing all the damage that he did, and Madness cleaning up and all of it. Pretty standard stuff coming out from those two, considering how they played in the first game. But unfortunately, I like to look at the poverty log sometimes as well, where Spade has 11 kills and 33 deaths. He had the least amount of kills, the most deaths, and his damage was also lackluster. And as far as I'm aware, he didn't get that many forces out, just sort of fed for his team, didn't really make much happen. But yeah, and Rocky dying as well. But every time that Rocky died, he got something done. He was managing to get in deep, and managed to get 9.9k damage as well on his side, and being the highest damaging player on the blue side. So yeah, that's sort of where I like to go sometimes with the logs. So we should see maybe things change up to the teams maybe in the future, or maybe they'll start working out what they need to do to make things a little bit better for Spade in these games. But moving on to the medic logs, once again, like you said, we are seeing one drop either side for both teams, but heal distributions are fairly normal, and apart from Doge getting absolutely tanked, the healing stats were relatively even, about 100 out per minute.
Yeah, indeed. It's again, like, that's really all I really want to talk about in these logs. It was a fairly, I think, cut and dry game with just some feeding that I think led to the close score on the board at the very end. We're going to sort of start wrapping things up now, though. We've got a few things to shout out just before we do. We have the second Summer Cup coming out in mid-January, I believe. Not sure the exact date. I don't think it's been announced just yet, but we'll have another one of these one-night cups in the middle of January. Which will be really great to see some more of these teams, some same teams, some different teams come out and fight. I'm not sure what the theme is going to be for that one. I'm not sure if we're trying new maps, trying old maps. I know sometimes we have a little bit of a fun one, like we did reverse maps and things like that before. So I'm not sure what the vibe is for this one, but I'm sure it'll be some great TF2 to come and watch in the middle of January, kind of when there's a bit of a lull in TF2 in general. But we'll be off over Christmas, over the holidays. So Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that kind of good stuff too. Thank you so much for tuning into TF Live's broadcast for tonight. I believe as well, after we head off the air, we're going to switch over to hosting the AF LAN, which is the Asia Fortress LAN, which is happening right now, I believe in Singapore. I'm not 100% sure where it is. But some great TF2, some players that we've seen on our servers quite a lot, playing on 5 ping rather than 500 ping, which will be really great to see. So tune in if you're familiar with, iShow and Fishy and all of those guys right at the end there. We might just move on to some shout outs. We'll just head down our roster. Hyce, do you have any shout outs?
I want to give a shout out to everyone involved in ozfortress for giving Logjam another shot in the competitive season. I want to give you guys a shout out for giving Waterton a shot in this cup as well. And then I'd love to give Banny a shout out as well for giving me all the map testing feedback over the years, and as well Lucrative with ESCA for how much map testing feedback he's been giving me as of late as well.
Fantastic. Lucky, any shout-outs?
Shout-outs to Wiethoofd for his amazing production today. Very nicely done, my friend. Shout-outs to Team Rush. Shout-out to AMS for creating the Ascent Frag movie. And
phenomenal video, by the way. Yes, amazing video.
Absolutely epic. I was watching it in creation, and it was just, it was beautiful. Magnificent to watch. What about you, Xander? Any shout-outs for you?
I'd just like to shout out again you for coming all the way to Australia to cast with us tonight. It's great to have you over here. Wiethoofd again, great job of production as always. Fantastic to work with you. Shout out to Hyce for making some of the maps that we did see in play tonight. Fantastic to have these new content created for this game, which hopefully we all love 10 years down the line. But yeah, shout out to as well both teams for playing tonight. ozfortress admins for organising such a great night of TF2. I know it's a lot of work for you guys to put on these one night cups and dealing with all the seedings and all that kind of stuff that has to be done in a matter of hours, and generating all of this stuff. It does take a lot of effort. So thanks to Fosm and Catfish for their organisation heading into tonight, and also shout out to Xenophobia Mumble, I should say. But yes, thanks guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back later on in January with the next Summer Cup. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching and have a good holiday.